Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of
What Anna Said podcast.
We're so happy that you're joining us here today on our couch. We are very excited for this season. We're in the holiday season, and so the holiday season means family gatherings.
Yes.
Whether you are hosting or whether you are attending a family gathering, it's a very joyous time, and there's a lot of preparation going on. I know all the little elves are at work working together to make this season magical. I know for our family this year, I will be hosting our get together, and so that's always fun for us. We're kind of used to it though because we grew up. Our parents hosted a lot of parties and a lot of family gatherings, a lot of events, and so that's something that we were always used to doing.
Right.
And that's one thing that I really enjoyed growing up was our parents teaching us and showing us how to be hospitable to our guests and just to make them feel at home. And that's one thing that I have carried now, taking into my own family. And whenever I host something, is trying to make someone feel welcomed and feel loved in our space.
That's right. We definitely don't want that Grinch. Okay. So speaking of hosting, what are some things that you love when you are attending someone's event?
Good question.
That is a very good question, Sally. Thank you for that question. One thing that I love when I attend an event is the food. Okay. I love the food. If they got some good food, don't forget to invite me. I am there. But one thing that I truly do love and cherish is whenever I go somewhere that I'm invited and whenever I feel welcome.
That's very important too, to feel welcome in the space that you're
Oh,
invited to.
yes.
I know that I love that. I love when I walk into a home and you can just feel the warmth before you even step in.
That's my
because
favorite.
They're so excited to see you. They're so excited to welcome you and then to host you. That's always the best kind of parties for me. Sally, do you have anything that you love as not as a host but as a guest at someone's home?
It's definitely the same thing that you guys have mentioned. It's just the warmth of knowing, okay, yes. It's one thing to invite someone, it's another thing for someone to come and not feel welcomed.
Oh,
So
yes.
stepping into a space where you feel welcomed, you're greeted right away. There's nothing worse than going into a space and no one even said hello. So that's one important thing if you're hosting a party. Welcome your
Right.
guests. Say hello. I know that was something that had to be taught to me growing up because I was that Grinch. Okay, let's be real here.
Right, like sometimes Scrooge is at the party too.
Yes, Scrooge is at the party. I am Scrooge. And so that was something growing up that I had to learn. So if there's anyone out there that isn't a natural when it comes to hosting, that's okay. You can always learn. And that's one thing that the Scrooge
Yes.
and the Grinch
Exactly.
has learned over the years through childhood was how to be welcoming. And so that's what I love.
Hospitable
Mhm.
and
That's something that mom and dad has continued to drill into us.
oh yes.
Because I will I cannot tell you how many lectures I've had of, hey, next time when we have guests, come out of the room and say hello. Okay.
Right,
Don't
right.
just hide away in your room
Yes.
being an email girl.
I fell in love with an emo girl.
So that's one thing that I love is stepping into a new space, especially if you're not there with other friends or family and you're new to this event. That's one thing is just feeling welcomed.
Right, and I think for if you're hosting, sometimes people just don't know it. It's just ignorance, and sometimes they don't know that maybe you're giving that vibe, and so people might be sitting there thinking, "Why did I get invited?" It's like the host doesn't want to be here, and they live here.
Right.
So that's something important to think about during this time. I know hosting for some can feel stressful.
Oh, yes.
For us, it's we love hosting, but I know that for some people that can be a stressful time for them. What are some things that they can do if they're hosting to take away the stress during this time?
Delegate.
Mm.
Learning from dad, he's really great at delegating.
Right.
So when sometimes there are times where we have to host something.
Yeah, sometimes we're voluntold.
We're
right?
voluntold. And I think that's very important to alleviate the stress.
Very good.
Start, asking. He would normally reach out to us and say, hey, who can do this? Who can do that?
Exactly.
And in that way, we're using our strengths of what we're great at to help. Because, I'm not great at decorating, but I am great in helping in maybe buying whatever we need or showing up like being the
Right.
one to go run
Yeah.
the errand.
Being a body
Yes.
that can be used. Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. Very good. I love that point that you brought up, Sally. Delegate. You just because you're the host, you don't have to answer for everything. You can use your resources, and if you're hosting, I hope that you're hosting people that care about you, so that you can reach out and say, hey, you know what, I need some help with this, or could you please come early and help me set up.
Don't
Or
come early and not help set up.
yeah. Look, listen to this tip. If you are not taking anything else away, number one, please do not come early. If the
an hour, 2
Right.
hours early.
Right.
Like 2 hours early,
come on
please.
time. Do not come late. But if you are to come early, then understand that the host maybe still be setting up, and sometimes when you come early, then that puts pressure on the host to entertain you while they're getting ready for the other guests. And also, let me just add in there tip number two: if you are a guest, let the host do the inviting. If they invited you, that's where
I
that
think
ends.
that's a very important part. Could you say that again, Anna?
Something you could take from.
Look, if you are invited and you're an attendee, you're a guest at this party, and the host didn't say bring a plus one, that means it's you that's invited. Okay? The host is preparing a gathering for this many people. And if all of y'all start inviting people, well, then the host who was jolly is now stressed. That's just just common courtesy. It's good etiquette.
Oh, yes. I know hosting can be stressful, as you have mentioned, but I know with our parents growing up and with dad always reminding us that even if you don't have much, you make it work with what you have, and you just make it the best that it can be, especially being hospitable. I think that's the number one thing. If you don't have a lot of things, hospitable will just turn
Being
it all
hospitable.
around. Being hospitable will just make everything 10 times more better.
And make it a fun time, okay? Don't sit in silence. Another tip is have some background music going.
Oh,
okay?
yes.
When when you're hosting a party, have some background music playing. It doesn't have to be so too loud to where you cannot hear each other speak, but have some music going. It puts everyone in a great mood.
Yes, helps break the ice.
Helps break the ice and
Start the party.
yes, get that party started.
Right, exactly.
I know with our family gatherings and our family events that I know Anna, that she's the one that usually looks up the games, and then we'll come together, get our game supplies. And that's one thing that I really look forward to is our family games.
I love that. Getting together with everyone, having music in the background, and then even having games. That's another great icebreaker or a way to get the party going, get everybody comfortable.
Oh, yes.
It's always fun.
And there's a lot of games where you don't even need any supplies. It's a game where you just use the people, ask
Right.
some questions, and just have fun with it.
Yeah, so hosting doesn't have to be something that feels like a chore. It can be a time to use the resources that you have to have a good time and gathering with those that you love. You can come together, listen to music, have fun playing games. It doesn't take much. All you need is a welcoming space. Make sure that you want the people that are coming to your home. And it's a joyful time for everyone. I know growing up, every time my parents were hosting an event or a party gathering, whatever it was, that was such a fun time for us, even though it was a lot of work that we
Mhm.
had to do. Because sometimes, Polynesian families, there's
Oh, yes.
many of you that are going to come together. So you need to
Mhm.
make sure you're able to have that space for everyone. Even though that may have been a lot, but I loved it. I love the prep that goes into it.
Yes.
And sometimes I feel like preparing for a party is more fun than the party sometimes because all the helpers come together. Your cousins come to help out to cook or prep food or clean the space that you have and set up tents and chairs or whatever it is. That is always so much fun.
Yes.
That's when I have the most fun, actually, is when I'm hosting.
Oh, yes, definitely a lot of planning that goes into it, especially hosting a Polynesian family and all the meals for our families. And one thing is that sometimes you're going to have uninvited guests, but the thing that you can do with those when you get guests that are uninvited is just make it the best that you can. Just continue to be hospitable. Continue to
Yes.
have a good time, because if you stress about it,
Yes.
you're just going to make it worse for yourself.
Right. And
And thank you for bringing that up, Kim. That's such a good point to bring, is that even if there are uninvited guests that show up or unexpected guests that show up, it's still very important to be hospitable to them as well. And still in the spirit of Christmas, especially that we're in, to still have that jolly spirit that you had earlier, and extend it to all those that show up, because hosting is also, it can also be a ministry,
Yes.
ministry to those that come to your home, ministry to
yes.
those that are in your space. So definitely be kind. And I think that you should always just expect the unexpected, especially when you're hosting.
that's a great tip.
Right.
Expect
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
unexpected.
Right. And then just have grace for it all.
Mhm.
Even if things are not going your way, maybe you burn the food that you were prepared. Maybe you don't have enough seating for everyone. Whatever it is, just have grace for all those things and expect it to
Mhm.
happen.
And so that you're better prepared. It just helps you set you up to win
Right.
at hosting.
Right.
Yes. And speaking of burning food, this is not the time. This is another tip. This is not the time to try new recipes or change up your recipe.
Yes.
Okay. Because,
That's me.
oh, please.
If I'm gonna try a new recipe, I'm gonna try it whenever
Don't try
I'm
it
invited
with
to a
us.
gathering
We're
and
not
to
your
bring a
guinea
dish.
pig.
I'm gonna try my new recipe then.
This is not the time for you to try out some new razzle dazzle. Stick to the tried and true. Because there's already a lot of pressure on the day, on the gathering. So you don't want to be, you don't want to waste all the ingredients that you got to try out your new recipe.
Unless you're really good at what you do. So,
I know that you're just talking about yourself right now. in
well,
this
I mean, I
moment.
did make a pumpkin cheesecake that one Thanksgiving, and everyone has been asking for it since then. So I would say that was my first time, and it
Well,
was
since
really
you brought it up, we'll be expecting it. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So yes, that's a lot of hopefully we gave you guys some good takeaways for those tips about hosting and also about being a guest.
Now, one thing that I love when we host is we always have karaoke set up.
Yes, we do. It's my favorite. It's the only reason I show up.
Yes, and I think everyone knows by now that we are a karaoke family, because anytime we're gathering together, we're karaoke.
So I know when we get together, I'm always the week before, I'm looking up songs, trying to know.
We take it so seriously
Yes.
that we gotta
do.
prep.
Uh-huh.
We have a list. Okay.
And our husbands know that they're
included.
too.
yes, they're
included.
included. So they have to have their songs ready.
Yeah.
And if they don't, we
Mhm.
get to pick a song for them.
Exactly.
Throw them up there,
Right.
just hand them a mic,
Yep.
and
And
good
it
luck.
doesn't matter off key.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. You're gonna sing.
Right. I remember one Thanksgiving when the neighbors came over
Oh,
That's right.
and they came over to sing.
Right. They heard us singing off key from like a block down, and they decided to join the party too. And it was open for everyone, whoever wanted to join us. I know when we get together and we start our karaoke session, that is when everyone is really, that's the height of the fun.
Oh yeah.
That's when things are really starting to get crazy.
Oh yes. So what are some of your favorite, like your go-to karaoke song
Ooh.
when we get together?
Okay, well, I have a couple. Do you want my go-to Christmas karaoke
Your go-to
song?
Christmas.
You know what? It starts with anything that has the word winter in it. So I do love Sia Snowman.
Oh yes,
I
me too.
love that song. So I think that's one of my go-to karaoke for Christmas time.
What about you, Sally?
Please don't ask me.
We already know.
Everyone
Sally's
knows
music. Everyone
my
knows.
music is gonna be a ballad.
Yes,
It's gonna
yes.
be something sad, something
Yes.
happy, but everything
That-
is a ballad or it's gonna be a worship song.
That
okay?
screams Sally.
But that's who I've been ever since I was young.
Yeah, everyone's going up to sing their song, and we're all dancing, having
All
fun.
right.
And as soon as Sally comes up, then I think
Like the beat, everything's high.
yes.
Energy's high. The party's going. When Sally steps to the
Yep.
mic, it's time for us to be somber. It's time for us to reflect on all the mistakes that we made. Do we have regrets? You did it, now you do.
Get your tissue
because
out.
Sally's gonna show you exactly what's wrong with your life.
That's exactly
Yes,
Sally.
because I would go up and sing maybe Christmas Shoes. Okay, and that's
See,
putting
there you
everyone in a
go.
different mood.
There you go.
But that's who I am. So that's why before we get together, I'm looking up songs.
Yeah.
I'm looking up something upbeat, having to learn these songs and show up ready to sing.
If she starts singing a song upbeat,
something's wrong.
something's wrong.
She-
Because that ain't her.
Right. Check the food that she ate. Make sure nobody spiked her drink. Because Sally will always give you Broadway.
Mhm.
She'll always give
Mhm.
you theater music.
Leona Lewis, she's your go-to girl for that.
Right. But we love her for slowing down the party. Sometimes you need to slow down.
Mhm.
Sometimes she slows us down to a stop. But we appreciate Sally for still joining in the karaoke fun.
Oh yes, I know. For me, one thing about me when I karaoke, all hands on deck. I am the superstar.
all hands
When
on
I
deck.
walk in, okay. When I walk in,
Turn the camera off.
I am the superstar of the show. It is my day. You guys came to my show, and I'm just. They're laughing, but they know it's true. Okay, I like to say that I'm the one that starts the party. Especially, I mean, what some of my songs I love to sing that we did grow up to is ABBA songs.
Before you continue, everyone knows that a good karaoke party is when somebody's off key. You don't want someone showing up,
Here we
singing,
go.
hitting all the notes. That's just not fun. Now we're at a
just
concert.
because,
But
some people can't.
karaoke, Kim does thrive because she really drives it home with that off key, with all those off key notes that she hits. That's what makes it a true karaoke party. So you are right. You are a star. You
Okay,
are the
you know
star of the
what?
party.
They're lying. It's not off key, but thank you. I am. Thank you.
Kim is the star of the party. Yeah.
What's your star? What's your favorite song to karaoke?
I mean, I told you ABBA songs like Super Trooper, Chickatita, or This Is Me, The Greatest Showman, Miley Cyrus, The
Ooh.
Climb. You know, I'm like anything that's gonna get me up there and like you're gonna scream for me while I'm singing. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Well, y'all know why she comes to the parties now. Only one reason, to be the star of the show. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm sure that it's a lot of pressure on you.
It is
and you have to
sometimes.
carry all of us on your back.
I do. I know when we have our family gatherings and we are hosting that the decoration committee is me and Anna.
That's right, and I'm sorry about that. Anna and Kim is the decoration committee. They are great at what they do. That's why that is
Thank you.
their assignment.
We are.
Almost all the time. So that's another tip is when you're hosting a party, it's great to set up the day before, and that way you have one less thing to do
Oh,
the next
yes.
day.
Yes, because I know for when we were hosting my niece's, her first birthday, Sally's daughter's first birthday, we had it at my parents. So we were able to set up the night before. We stayed up, blew up all the balloons, hung up everything, getting ready for her birthday party. And that really helped us the day after.
Yeah, and the decorations that you do have set up the vibe that you're going for in your party. So
Mhm.
Kim and I blew up too many balloons.
We did.
And the thing is that's what's so good about knowing when you have a party, using your resources and delegating, because Kim and I love to do it. It's not something that we stress to do.
Oh, yes,
or you have
we
to
look
drag us
forward
do
to
We
it.
look forward to
Mhm.
it, and we love doing that for our nieces, our nephews, our family. So delegate that to what the strengths are of those around you. And so everyone knows Kim and I will show up, and we'll put anything up that you tell us to, and we'll do it happily. And Sally knows that she'll show up and she'll be ready to be the one going back and forth to the store, going back and forth to run errands for us. And that person is the MVP because I don't like doing that. So Sally steps in and she takes care of that so that it takes the weight off of us. So it's a teamwork. It takes everybody.
That's right, because I remember having bought some decorations for Sally's birthday party, and there was like a fishnet and all these pictures that I had of Sally for like her, pictures of her throughout one whole year of life. And I didn't know what I was going to do with the decorations. I just gave them over and said, hey, here's what I have for her birthday party. I know you guys are very creative when it comes to using those. And so when I came on the day of the party, like seeing how they put everything together,
Mhm.
it blew my mind because I would have never thought to use the fishnet the way that you guys did with
Thank
her
you.
pictures.
Yeah, thank you. That's always a fun thing for us is just putting things together.
Oh yes. One thing with me and Anna is if we were to do your decorations and we ask you where you would want something and you have no idea how to do any of it,
All
leave it up
right.
to us.
Of
me
course.
me and Anna, we can already see
That's what Sally said.
the whole setup before it's even set up. So that's one thing I think we're really good at is seeing the picture before it's even done.
Right.
Teamwork.
Makes the dreams work.
Ooh.
We're sisters.
Are you sisters?
Are you sisters? But yeah, so that is an important tip. You know, delegate, give someone, know your team.
Right.
You know, whoever you're hosting with or
Mhm.
whoever you have in your family that is going to be able to help you. If you know their gift and what they're talented at, ask them if they could help in whatever area that's going to be.
Right.
And that will help you have a joyful time gathering together.
Exactly. Expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected. Um, extend grace to everyone that's coming. And just make sure, as long as your space is warm and inviting to everyone, you're going to have a good time.
Oh yes. That never fails.
So,
With all of that being said, I'm looking forward to Anna hosting our Christmas
Oh
get
yes.
together.
Our secret Santa.
So I know that Anna's going to be using some of those tips and delegating.
oh, definitely.
As well.
I'm going to delegate right after this episode, actually. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having that space. I'm looking forward to Kim taking us off in karaoke, off key that is. And I'm looking forward to Sally with her ballads.
Putting us to sleep.
Not putting us to sleep.
I'll come ready, okay, with a hip song.
Oh, y'all heard it here.
Remember this.
Y'all heard it here. She's coming with a hip song.
If you guys don't know who I am by now, you'll get to know me through these episodes of the type of character, personality I have.
Right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us again on another episode. We hope that we shared a little bit of tips and advice for if you're a host or if you're a guest. We hope that you have something that you were able to take away from this episode. We're so thankful you hung out with us today. We'll see you next time on another episode of
What Anna Said podcast.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.